I'm going to apologize in advance because this is going to get technical, but to the people who this matters to, you're welcome. Greg, what are we doing here today?
So today we're going to talk about plot permissions, and this basically is going to explain how your plot is protected from other people, and also how you can give people more access to your plot than they would normally get.
All right. So what permissions do people normally have on plots then?
Okay, so if I buy a plot, or say Max Bell buys a plot, he owns this plot. As a non-member of the plot, not being in your clan, there are very few things I can do. So for example, I can't change the settings on this redstone repeater. I can't access the furnace. I can't break the minecart. I can't open the chests. Certain things you can do, and we left these in here for two reasons. One is to give, say you want people to be able to access a certain set of doors or some redstone contraption. Non-members can push wooden buttons on your plot. But they can't push stone buttons. Sorry for the choice of stone button on stone here, but there's a stone button here. I can't interact with this. Mac can. Same thing with pressure plates. I can use the wooden pressure plate and it lights up, but I can't use the stone one. However, it should work just fine for Max as he owns the plot. Yes, he can access both of those. Also, tripwires. A non-member can trip tripwires. The main reasons we do this is because these aren't really protected anyway from players. I can throw items on a wooden pressure plate and it will activate. Same thing with a wooden button. If you shoot a wooden button with an arrow, it will activate. So, you know, those really don't need to be protected anyway. Same thing with a tripwire, actually. Items and arrows will activate those. So it lets you kind of just give non-members a little bit of access if you want, but for the most part, everything else on your plot is protected. People can't break blocks, place blocks. They can't mess with your stuff. Now, certain things like crafting tables, enchantment tables, things that don't really have their own inventory, people can use those. There's no harm in them doing it. They can't, you know, access anything that they shouldn't. So.
Also worth mentioning before we move on from this is you're able to get into a minecart and ride the minecart on plots, even if you're not a member. You're just unable to break them.
Right. Well, I actually...
That was me. That was me there.
Oh,
I broke it.
Yeah. He broke that, so I picked it up. So anyway, we do that because that lets you have kind of self-contained cart systems where if you want to have a rail that runs around your plot, non-members can come ride it, but they can't take your mine carts. So, you know, we do that to give you a little extra freedom there. But as you see, you can also give them permission to do that if you'd like, while keeping everything else locked out. And that's what we're going to be talking about next. So, on every plot, there's a long list of permissions that you can add to a plot. So when you add these types of permissions to a plot, anyone can do the action listed in the permission. So if you type plot /plot perm list all being one word, it will give you a long list of permissions. Now,
emphasis
this is
on
not the
long
final
list.
Yes, that is a long list of permissions. There are 53 permissions. Now, this is not the final interface for this. I actually have to group it up. This is going to be improved. It does work for now, so we just wanted to kind of show you. For most permissions, they're very self-explanatory. For example, access beacon allows people to interact with beacons. They could change what type of beacon it was. They can't break them, but they can access them. Same thing with brewing stands, chests. So, for example, to use these permissions, you stand on the plot that you want, and normally I can't access this chest because I'm not a member. But if Mac runs the command plot perm and then just access chest, just separate it with spaces. You don't have to make it uppercase.
Chest.
I'm sorry, what?
It's access chest.
You don't have to do underscore. You can actually just do it with spaces. We made
Oh,
the command a
okay.
little more friendly. So plot perm access chest. It should say that permission's been turned on.
Yes.
Okay, so I can now, being a non-member, open the chest. Now this is a trap chest. I cannot open it, but I am able to open the regular chest because, and so would any other person that came along. So you could have, you know, there's also a permission for access trap chest. It does exactly, you know, what you would think it would do. Same thing with furnaces. Typically, I can't access furnaces, but you know, he can enable those with the access furnace command, and I'd be able to put you know, anything in there and cook it, which I can now. I can access it. So same thing with stone pressure plate. So if you do plot access stone plate, I'll be able to. Normally, I can't trigger this walking over it.
Stone plate
But
being two
now,
words.
yeah, now I can. When I walk over it, it triggers it. So you can turn these things on and off individually to customize your plot. So to allow users to do whatever you want. One of the permissions is place minecart. Like we said, normally I would not be able. I can't place the minecart here. But you know, that's a permission you can add. It's actually glitched out for me. I can't. It's not in my inventory. I can't see it because I tried to place it. But
Invalid
anyway,
perm name. When I typed it in, most likely.
There you go. Oops. Oh, there's the minecart.
Was it
Yeah.
place what? How do is it?
Oh,
Sorry.
it's place.
Mine.
It should be
Place minecart. Yeah, it is. Just place minecart.
Minecart's one word though.
Yeah, it's an invalid
Place
permission name.
fixed.
Oh, well. Anyways, the idea of that is that you'll be able to, if you're a non-member, and they
Right.
want you to be able to do that on that plot.
Right, exactly.
Super
So
worth noting at this point. You don't have to do any of this. This
Yep.
is just added functionality. If you want to go in and deal with all this, you can. But
Yes.
if you just want your plot to be the exact same as before, where you did the /plot and it gave the list at the bottom.
He cut out there. But I'm guessing he was
Yeah.
saying that it's you don't have to worry about any of these overall unless you need
Yeah.
to or unless you want to.
This is an opt-in kind of system. If you buy a plot, it is fully protected, other than a couple little things we mentioned at first. It's fully protected from people. You don't have to worry about it. This lets you give people more access. Say you're making a shop, you want people to be able to take items out of chests, you know, whatever. It gives you the freedom to do that. There are also a couple of other things worth noting on that list. So most of these permissions are for access, meaning you can like interact with things but not place them. However, there are a few, for example, empty bucket, fill bucket. Normally you can't pick up fluids or dump fluids on other people's plots. Those permissions give you, you know, anyone access to do that. Take item, frame item, breed animals if you want people to be able to breed animals on your plot, or even to damage animals.
So you can make public farms. Pretty much.
Exactly. There's even a tree farm permission. Yeah, a tree farm permission that allows people to break and place saplings. They can use bone meal and saplings. That's actually a separate permission, grow plants. But you can do that. They can break wood blocks and they can break leaves and place saplings, but that's all they can do. So they can't damage anything else on your plot, but they can farm trees. Same thing with crop farm. It's the same thing, but they can break all the different types of crops. Like they can break pumpkins, melons, but they can't break the stems. So it lets people, you know, flower farm is for all the different types of flowers. Most of them, again, are self-explanatory. You just have to read the permissions. The interface will improve. This is just very like this is the first version of this system, but it will. Also, you have break all and place all if you want to make your plot public, where anyone can do anything. You can set those permissions. If people grief your plot, however, that's on you. So just be careful with those if you choose to do that. I think for the most part, that's mine is one that's not self-explanatory. It's near the bottom, but it basically lets people naturally break any blocks that naturally spawn underground. For example, dirt, stone, cobblestone,
Gravel.
gravel,
All the different ores.
wood, all the ores. If you want to make it where someone else is helping you dig a plot out, you can set it like that, and people will be able to basically just dig out, mine for you. You don't have to make the members of the plot. They will be able to place and break chests and furnaces just because they're going to have to place, of course, to put the blocks. But it saves you from having to add a bunch of people to your plot. I think that's pretty much it on those. I will be improving the system. Now, another thing, if you say you want to build a list of permissions, so you have, say, 10 permissions you want to apply to a plot, and you want to apply them to a group of plots. That would be kind of tedious. So what we've done is we've created some commands that allow you to assign all the permissions you want to one plot, and then kind of save those and move them to another plot. So the command to do that. So if you do on a plot, if you do plot perm list, it will show you a list of permissions that are turned on this plot. So on this plot, anyone can do that command. Access chest, furnace, trap chest, and stone plate. So say he likes this and he wants to save this and apply it to another one of his plots. Let's see. Let's go. Do you own this plot over here?
Yep.
Yes, and there are no permissions set on this plot. So if you come over here, back to this plot, and you do plot save, and then a name. The name can be anything you want, just to name the list. And then if you go over here to this plot and you do plot apply, and then the name that you just previously saved it as. Now doing plot perm list will show you that the same set of flags are applied from this plot, from that plot to this one, and you can do that for as many plots as you want. It saves you from having to enter each one of those commands for each plot. If you forget the names of the group you assign, if you do plot perm list all, it will show you at the end of that the custom names that you've assigned. It will give you a list of those, so that way you can
remember the permissions that you put on the names of them.
Exactly. And one last thing, if you decide you want to delete a list that you've made, you can do plot delete and then the name of that set, and it will just erase it. Plot perm delete. I'm sorry. Plot perm. No, actually, I think
it's just plot delete. I got
it's
it.
Plot delete. Yeah.
Oh,
yep.
Okay.
And that does that. So anyway, so that lets you easily assign a group of permissions to one plot and put it on many different plots without a lot of tedium. So.
Ready.
That's it.
All right.
Is there a way to quickly remove them from a plot?
Let me see. Did we not?
Pressure.
Yes, that's actually a really good question. I thought we did.
Well, if not, there will be one soon. Would it be clear?
Plot perm clear.
It's plot perm clear.
Alright,
right.
So yeah, that does work.
Plot perm clear will erase.
So if I go over
them.
here and erase these, and we're good. Alright, so that was the plot permissions section of the tutorial. Thank you for watching. Hope you guys appreciate everything, and we will see you guys for the next part.
All right. See ya.
Peace.